Doesn't this hurdle stitch kind of look like a waffle weave? I love the texture so much. So did you get a sneak peek of my new blanket? So first off, what we're going to do for this hurdle stitch is we want an odd number of cast on chain. So I've already cast on, of course, so I'm going to show you on this blanket how I'm continuing the hurdle stitch. So the white or cream-ish row right here is a regular knit stitch row. And I'm adding on the pink that is another regular knit stitch row. So what you'll do when you start your chain is an odd number and then pull up the loops from that chain, and that's a regular stitch, right? Add one row of your regular knit stitch, which would be this pink basically, if we're looking at it like that. And then we'll go into what we do after that. So right here, we're coming up on the end of our second knit stitch. And at the end, I do a drop stitch. I always do. You do not have to, but I do. And that's why there's an odd number, by the way, because we want a regular knit stitch on the end. And these are all even. There's 2 rows of regular knit stitch. And then what you'll do is you'll bring your yarn to the front and do a purl stitch in that first. In the second, you do a regular stitch, purl stitch. So see how I'm taking the working yarn and putting it back to do a regular stitch and pulling it forward to do a purl stitch. Forward, do a purl stitch. So that's where you just push that yarn through, pull the yarn through, and then push the yarn through. This whole row is going to look like this up until you get to the edge stitch on the other side. So here we are at the other side. We've done a purl stitch, knit stitch all the way across. This last stitch should be a purl stitch, and then the edge stitch is a regular knit stitch, so you can have that braided edge at the end. When you come back, you're doing another purl stitch. So there's 2 purl stitches, a regular knit stitch, purl stitch, regular knit stitch. So you're basically doing the same exact thing you did on that last row. So you can kind of see the texture that it makes. There's one column of knit stitches across the way, and then it like skips across to these purl stitches. See how it makes 2 little bumps in there? And that's kind of what makes that like waffle weave texture. I absolutely love this texture, even if the colors aren't changed. You guys know that I love to change colors, but you definitely don't have to. So here I'm just going back across that row, the same thing I did for the previous row. I love this because that yarn can go right in the middle of these, and you just kind of go back and forth. You're pushing the yarn through for the purl stitch, and you're pulling it through for the knit stitch, because that knit stitch tends to come towards you and the purl stitch goes back. So a little tip, if you put your yarn right between those two, it's really easy to just go back and forth, back and forth. And it's like right in between those 2 stitches. You see how they're like kind of splayed out? After this row, you do 2 regular knit stitch rows again, and then repeat this process. So you have 2 regular knit stitch rows, and then 2 rows where you purl and knit all the way across, alternating. And that is the stitch. So it's in 4 row increments.